So after reading, researching, learning from a lot of people, a lot of experts, a lot of scientists, psychologists, I've narrowed down to the four things that you should prioritize in life into my four F's. You can label them as however you wish, but number one is faith, number two is family, number three is friendships, and number four is fulfillment. Now you're probably like, where the money at? I don't see money finances in there. You should add another F. Well, hold on. These are my top four, or the top four that I've seen across a lot of the things that I'm reading nowadays. If you haven't noticed, I'm doing 2 books a week, and I usually always post them at the end of every video that I post every week. So yeah, back to the story, or back to the topic. The number one priority should be your faith. Who do you serve? And how much time do you dedicate to your creator? That's a big question, because your faith is the foundation of everything else that you do. If your faith is weak, everything else in your life becomes weak. Now, it might outwardly look great and amazing, but we all know deep inside that there's a void that can only be filled with God. So then how is your life? What is the foundation of your life? Is it built on sand, or is it built on solid rock? Because you can have a beautiful 2-story house, beautiful, but then when the wind comes and blows, that 2-story house is gonna fall. And the fall is going to be noticeable because of how big that 2-story is, versus somebody who just has a 1-story house built on solid rock. The wind comes, the storm comes, and the house is still able to stay strong because of the solid foundation. So apply that to everything in your life. Faith being your first priority makes everything else much, I wouldn't say easier, but more meaningful. Because now you're able to lead your family. Now you're able to love and prioritize your family. Because Christ is your foundation, Christ is the head, and you're following the principles of what Christ has taught us to do in our daily lives. So family being number two, prioritizing family. Now, there are a lot of you guys who come from a very toxic family, or you don't know your father, you don't know your mom, or you have half siblings, or those are the moments where you choose your family. There is blood family, and it is right to reconcile with those who have hurt you, but then there's those times where reconciliation is very difficult and the other side is not willing, so then you must set necessary boundaries. And I always say, and this is from Brene Brown, boundaries are the distance, or boundary is the distance where I can love you and me both at the same time. So you can set boundaries with blood family members, but you can also create new relationships with people you choose to become your family. Yes, it'll never be the same, but then you'll still get that kind of meaningful relationship with those whom you love, the people you would do anything for and sacrifice everything for. That is family. Number three is friendships. So everyone needs a social life. You need, and I'm the biggest person who I don't like to be social. I like to be an introvert. I like to stay home. I like to be by myself. But after reading all these books and research and all the things that psychologists are saying, is humans need to surround themselves with other people. So friendship is also tied to community. We all need some kind of community that brings the best out of us, that builds us up, that shapes us into the direction that we're going. And it's also doing life with other people. Whether you're married and having a group of friends who are also married, or you're single and having a group of friends who are single, as long as if you outgrow your friends, you need to move on. You need to set what? Boundaries. The distance where I can love you and me at the same time. And then choose friends who push you, encourage you, and kind of help you and mold you and shape you into the person that you are becoming. Because life can get very lonely. And God even said it's not good for a man to be alone. He wasn't necessarily talking about a wife or a husband or a spouse, but it's in general, we are not created to do life on our own. So we do need family, and we do need friends, friendship, community. We need to belong in a group of people, but a group of people that help us become our best versions, rather than people who... Have you ever been in a situation where you have to like downgrade yourself so you don't make the other person feel bad? That means you've outgrown them. Have you ever been in a situation where you find yourself doing things that you used to do in the past that you no longer do, but because everyone else that you know is doing it, you just do it so that they won't feel bad? That means you've outgrown that kind of company. You've outgrown those kinds of people. So it's time for you to find a new community, and which is hard and challenging, but it's also worth it at the end. So faith, family, friendship, and friendship is tied to community. The last one is fulfillment. So yeah, sorry, I was interrupted when I was doing the video. Even talking about family, right now I am at my parents' house, and the way we prioritize family is every last Sunday of the month we do a whole family gathering where all of us come together at whoever is hosting, and then we have family gathering. We just come together, we cook, we do barbecue, we eat, we talk, and it's every last Sunday of the month. That's how much we're so all of this takes effort. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna do it when I get there. No, it's like, what can we do now to make this a consistent thing? Now, the last thing that I was talking about is fulfillment. Fulfillment is different from... There's a difference between work and a job. So work is something that you're called to do here on earth, and a job is something that pays your bills and puts food on the table. Now there's a way for these two to collide, but that also takes a lot of work. There's something that you were created here to do and accomplish on earth that God ordained or God anointed you to do. And I feel like one purpose of life is to kind of discover that, to enjoy the pursuit of figuring out what is the thing that God has called me to do here on earth. And it can be for a season, it can be for a reason, and it can be for a lifetime. And that metaphor also goes for the community that you involve yourself in. Everyone you encounter, sorry, this is a sidetrack, but everyone who you encounter in life, your friends, your friend groups, or your community, they are there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. If they're there for a reason, learn anything and everything that they came out to teach you and move forward. If they're there for a season, enjoy the season and don't feel bad if it has to end, because you know it was just y'all were together for a season. And if it's a lifetime, then those are the people who eventually become more of a family than friends. Now back to work. There is no greater source of reward than the feeling of fulfillment. When you go and you work and you feel fulfilled, you can even be in an environment where you make 7 figures, 6 figures, 8 figures, whatever figures, and you are miserable and you hate your job and you hate whatever you do, but you're staying there because of the money, the financial aspect of it. But let's say you're working and you're also getting those 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, but you love doing what you're doing. It brings you fulfillment. So that's why fulfillment is the last part, because it ties in with work. Imagine going and doing something every day, waking up, doing something that you love doing, that you don't even see it as work. You don't even feel like it's work. You wake up and you're like, I get to do this every day? That's crazy. So even now in my YouTube journey, I mean, eventually I would want this to be something that finances come out of in the future, in the long run. And it would be incredible for me to say, oh my gosh, you mean to tell me all I do is just turn on the camera and speak to you guys, and I get rewarded, and you also get rewarded by the advice and the wisdom and knowledge that I'm sharing? Because, you know, I have a few gray hairs, and in my culture, you know, they say the wise men are the ones who have gray hair, and I'm only 28, which makes no sense. But anyways, I digress. What were we talking about? Yeah, it would be nice. It would be amazing to just wake up and make content, and that way I would even show you guys more about the inside things in my life that I would like to keep private for now. But yeah, seeking and trying to find what is it that God has called you to do here on earth, because that reward will be the best feeling that you can ever feel inside. Waking up every day and saying, I know what I'm doing is right, and I know what I'm doing is going to help a lot of people, or it is helping people, a lot or little people, it doesn't matter, but you are having impact in the work that you are doing, regardless of the pay. Because you can have a job and have work. You know, even scripture says, a man shall go out during the day and labor, but then after he comes back home, he should do his own work. Work on what you want to do in life. So for instance, now, my job, I don't really get a lot of fulfillment in what I do, but after I leave work and come back home, I'm working on my own projects. I'm working on things that bring me joy, bring me fulfillment, things like this. Filming the YouTube video, even though it's hard sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, God, what the heck am I gonna record this week? But when I see a comment of somebody saying, man, this thing helped me a lot, or they reach out to me and like, bro, you said so much stuff that is helping me, and thank you for that. That is fulfillment. Money can't do that. A job can't do that. You know what I mean? So, all this to say, faith, family, friendships, and fulfillment. Those are the 4 things that you should prioritize in your life. And if you do so, then I promise you, you will live a more meaningful, happy, joyful life. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week.